Ahead on Up with KREM, Spokane Public Schools is updating its immigration enforcement policy. What they'll do if ICE agents come to their doors.
Plus, I'm tracking a mostly sunny afternoon here ahead of us with some slightly cooler temperatures.
And Spokane is asking people to cut back on watering this summer. We have some conservation tips for local gardeners. Good morning, and thank you for starting your day here with us on Up with KREM. I'm Brandon T. Jones. Over in the Weather Center, we've got Jenny Power. And Jenny, it's almost summer, but is it going to be feeling like summer today as we head into the new week?
You know, not quite here. We actually are seeing a bit of a cooler than average start to June. And so as we move forward today, we are going to see some more sunshine compared to what we saw yesterday. It's still going to be a breezy afternoon with these cooler daytime highs. So as we take a look at those highs here, we're going to reach 64 degrees for Spokane, 62 for Coeur d'Alene. We're in the low to mid 70s out through parts of central Washington with some upper 50s for Bonners Ferry. Now, as we move forward here and take a look at the next couple of days, yes, today is going to be breezy and mostly sunny. And into tomorrow, we gradually will see some increasing clouds. So we've got partly sunny skies to start off the new week. Temperatures, though, still on the cooler end. And by the middle of this upcoming week, I'm even tracking the chances here of some showers. So we'll get into that here in my extended forecast in just a few minutes.
Well, this is exciting. Skyfest at Fairchild Air Force Base continues today, and it'll be your last chance to catch the show. Gates open at 9 a.m. You do need to bring photo ID if you're 18 years or older, and there's usually a big line, so you want to make sure you're getting there early. And if you don't want to drive, Spokane Transit Authority is offering a shuttle service. At the Washington State Capitol, a 21-year-old is accused of smashing windows and doors and leading police on a chase through Olympia. Investigators say the man used large rocks to break about 25 ground floor windows and damage 2 doors. When state troopers got there, he drove over a pedestrian bridge and he then crashed, and police arrested him on suspicion of DUI, second-degree assault, and first-degree malicious mischief.
The person was well over twice the legal limit. So don't know who or what he was mad at, but he took it out on this building.
And if you remember, there was another break-in at the Capitol last October. They did some upgrades after that break-in, so the damages weren't as bad this time around. This is video from that previous break-in, and the man caused about $1 million in damage throughout the building. The window repairs this time should only cost around $100,000. Well, Spokane Public Schools is revising their policy on immigration enforcement in schools. Now, anyone looking to conduct immigration enforcement on or near school grounds won't be allowed on campus until thoroughly reviewed and verified. Also, under the revised policy, school officials cannot release students' records or personal information unless required by a court order or warrant. This morning, we are less than 2 weeks away from the last day of school in Spokane Public Schools. They're already making plans for next school year and sharing how students will get to class. SPS unveiled new school buses, which they'll start using this fall. They have air conditioning, security cameras, and seat belts, which students will have to wear. SPS says the new buses are part of their plan to move transportation operations in-house and improve the experience for students. They will have between 140 and 150 school buses once they're done with the transition.
We're really anticipating that it will be continuity of experience for kids, and this is all about transitioning to a new fleet that's run by Spokane Public Schools that is going to be the most cost-effective way for us to get kids on a yellow bus and get them to class on time.
Registration for yellow bus transportation is open now. There's no official deadline, but SPS says families should register as soon as possible, and that'll help them with planning their bus routes. Well, the city of Spokane wants to cut back on water use because we're in a moderate drought. KREM 2's Regan Gallo explains some small changes to make in your own garden that can make a big difference.
We are incredibly, like 7 times watering more than we need to in those months. So we just want it to be more conscious for people.
Kirsten Davis with the city of Spokane tells me through October, Spokane is now under level 1 drought response measures. She says residents are asked to avoid watering between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. and limit outdoor watering to 4 days a week or less.
The WaterWise program has average savings of about 18% per household.
To save water, the city recommends swapping out water-hungry lawns for WaterWise landscaping filled with plants that are drought tolerant.
This is a native plant, so is the red valerian. The tall purple things are penstemon.
The change can also lower utility bills. City officials say people may qualify for rebates up to $500. And the WSU Master Gardener volunteers are eager to help.
Anybody can come to us, ask any question they want, and we're happy to help them get through this hot summer.
Yeah.
All right, still ahead here on Up with the KREM. Maybe you have a new driver at home or you just want some safety features for your own car. A look at the car experts recommend for teens just ahead.
My daughter's voice said back to me, "I'm so sorry, Mom, I love you."
And later, artificial intelligence is making scams more sophisticated. The warning signs you need to look for. Well, if you're car shopping for a teen driver, new safety test results show some vehicles are better than others for young and inexperienced drivers. Evan Moon spoke with experts about the new features parents should prioritize before handing over the keys.
For many teens, a first car means freedom, but for parents, it's all about safety. On the road, a collision can come down to just seconds.
It doesn't matter how responsible or smart or capable they are, they're still a beginner, they're still learning. And part of learning is making mistakes. And the cost of an error when you're driving a car on a road with other people is really high.
But there's good news. Safety is steering in the right direction. At 40+ miles per hour, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety puts dozens of different makes and models to the test, evaluating newer technology like automatic emergency braking systems.
It does add an extra layer of protection and some peace of mind. They're nice to have.
IIHS senior research scientist Rebecca Wiest says a common misconception is that bigger means safer.
We look for kind of a Goldilocks spot when it comes to size, so nothing too small, nothing too big.
And while teens may beg for a sports car, experts say that can be one of the biggest safety risks.
Teenagers are disproportionately involved in speeding-related crashes. So we want to avoid giving teenagers cars that have especially, zippy acceleration.
Distracted driving is also a leading cause of crashes. Parents may want to avoid big touchscreen digital dashboards.
Reducing the complexity of what they're looking at when they're driving is an important thing to consider.
Of the dozens of vehicles tested, no single brand came out on top.
There's a fair amount of Subarus on the list. There are Hyundais. You see a few Kias, Toyotas, Hondas.
Cost is always a big factor when car shopping. Wiest says parents could consider sharing the car with their teen, which does reduce reckless driving. Evan Moon, CBS News.
And coming up in your forecast, I am still tracking some cooler than average temperatures. How long this will last ahead.
It is no secret that groceries are expensive right now, but where do you think the state of Idaho and Washington rank in terms of how much the average household spent on groceries last year when compared to other states? You might be surprised by the answers. LendingTree crunched the data from January of 2025 through January of 2026, and Idaho ranks as the third highest, only behind Alaska and Utah, in terms of how much the average household spent on groceries last year. In the state of Idaho, the average household shelled out $10,000 roughly on groceries last year. That's about 28% more than the national average. Washington ranked number 12th on the list. Average household there shelled out roughly $8,800 on groceries last year, about 11% more to the national average. LendingTree also says, according to their grocery habits survey, nearly 9 in 10 Americans report changing their grocery habits in an effort to save money. So if you have any tips on getting more bang for your buck at the grocery store, let us know down in the comments.
Well, this is one of many stories you can watch right now on the all-new KREM 2 app. Go ahead, scan that QR code you see on your screen right now to download and get news updates directly to your phone.
Now it's time to get an extended look at your forecast here on this Sunday and what we're set to see across the inland Northwest, where temperature-wise, it's going to be similar to where we were at yesterday. We're still seeing these cooler temperatures that are a bit below our average in the 60s. Today, we are going to see a little bit more sunshine, particularly for Spokane, while parts of North Idaho, it's a different story. That's what we're covering in this extended forecast. We'll watch for some showers popping up through parts of the Gem State. And today, it's still going to be breezy out there. We saw the breezy winds yesterday. Today is going to be comparable in that regard. Now, as far as our future tracker goes, here's mid-morning where we're seeing a bit more of that sunshine for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, but south to the Camas Prairie, we are seeing some rain showers there in central Idaho, and up in the mountains, even the return here of some very high elevation mountain snow along the Montana-Idaho border. Yes, it is June, and we are talking about some mountain snow in those very high elevations. Moving into this afternoon, we are going to remain mostly dry for the Spokane area, but you can see through the North Idaho Panhandle, particularly north of Sandpoint, we do have the chances of seeing some quick spotty showers moving through. We're also seeing that up in the mountains of the Okanagan Valley, so really the Okanagan Highlands. And as we continue to move into the rest of this evening, still hanging on to mostly dry conditions through parts of central Washington and eastern Washington. And then into tomorrow, we'll be seeing some partly sunny skies. So a fairly mild yet cool start to the next week ahead. Daytime highs this afternoon, we're at 64 degrees for Spokane, 62 for Coeur d'Alene. We do have some low 70s this afternoon for Moses Lake, Wenatchee, Chelan, and Omak. Low 60s, though, is the high for Republic, with just looking at some upper 50s for Bonners Ferry. As we take a look across the nation, this is a look at Phoenix. I mean, definitely warm toward Arizona, 105. Hot, actually, not warm, definitely more than that. 105 is that daytime high, 89 degrees for Dallas, 91 for Corpus Christi. We're looking at some low 80s for Detroit and mid 80s out in New York. As we bring it back home here a little bit closer to what we're anticipating to see as we move forward, we're going to hang on to cooler temperatures in the Pacific Northwest, well, really inland Northwest, with some cooler than average temperatures for this upcoming week and precipitation that is about average. So with that here, we are going to watch for some showers possible by the middle of this upcoming week. So just keep that in mind, as we will also hang on to daytime highs in the 60s here, folks. And so with the threat of some showers possible, a really helpful tool is access to our live local radar, which you can view 24/7 for completely free on the KREM 2 app on your TV or your phone.
My daughter's voice said back to me, "I'm so sorry, Mom. I love you."
Well, this is a pretty scary scam going around right now. Alleged kidnappers are calling and demanding cash, and they're using what sounds like a loved one's voice. In reality, though, it's not their voice. Scammers are using AI to mimic voices. The FBI says last year alone, Americans lost over $893 million to AI-related scams. One mother says she knows that all too well.
As a parent, when you truly believe that your child, adult child, is in distress, in terror, distress like that, you'll do anything.
Well, that desperation and panic is what scammers rely on. So experts say to take a moment to recognize the red flags. Try to contact your loved one through other means and establish code words. Still ahead here on Up with KREM, local moms are getting support from Numerica. But what does the money actually go to? We dig into that and bring you more to every story. Well, over the next week, Numerica Credit Union is giving 23 charities in the region grant money. It will be a total of more than $500,000. The money will support nonprofits that support our area kids. This week, one of those charities received a surprise visit with a big check.
And we're going to fund every single top applicant with their full funding request, which for you all was $25,000. Oh. Yay! Thank you!
Alexandria's House received $25,000 to support young mothers. The nonprofit is the only licensed maternity house of its kind in the state, and the money can be used to help provide everything from transportation to school to taking their own kids out for a day of fun. Numerica will give the other charities their grants over the next week. In our effort to find more to every story, we wanted to learn how the money helps local moms. Right now, Alexandria's House can help 5 moms and their children at a time. We talked to one mom who was in the program and using the resources to provide for her little girl and help support the big dreams she has for both of them. KREM 2's Laura Papetti reports.
Here, wait. This is a place where a life path can change.
You wanna hold it?
And a safety net where people can dream.
She gave me, a reason to look for a passion in things.
This is Alexandria's House for young mothers.
Will you make her another pancake, please? She's like mauling these.
Jaden was just 15 years old when she found out she was pregnant. She admits at the time she was not living her best life. But then the idea of new life changed her way of thinking.
It was literally like a switch in my brain just flipped,
But Jaden didn't know how to parent or how to dream beyond the moment. She had spent the better part of her teens in juvenile detention. And then when she got pregnant, there was no place for her to go.
I was on probation and the juvenile court owned a room at St. Margaret's. But because I was 15, I wasn't allowed to talk to any other residents. I was just completely isolated.
Eventually, she got into this Volunteers of America program.
That's a big relief. Stop.
And with that came the basics. Food, shelter, and security. On this day, Jaden stayed late to talk with us, but she is enrolled in school and has access to daycare. And options for Jaden went from nothing to everything.
Anything I want, really. Anything that I want to do, I can do.
Jaden is finishing up her junior year of school, looking forward to being a senior and beyond, hoping to enroll at Spokane Community College.
Oftentimes, young moms, if they show up here, they've experienced really severe trauma in their life. They've been homeless. They have no direction and path to be able to dream. So this is a place where they actually can dream about their future.
The Alexandria House program relies on multiple sources of funding and just got a $25,000 boost from Numerica.
It allows us to provide incentives for the moms when they reach their goals, or transportation so they can get to school and back, or activities that they want to do with their babies and outings that they may want to do.
This is the only licensed maternity home in the state, where moms can learn to be the best versions of themselves and learn to parent. In 1 week from now, on her 18th birthday, Jaden will move into different housing supported by the Volunteers of America, where she can begin to work on her dreams that she now realizes can come true. Reporting in Spokane, Laura Papetti, KREM 2 News.
All right, Hoop Fest is almost here, but hoopers coming from far away, they might not be taking the trip or making the trip this year. How gas prices are impacting travel.
It's only gonna do good for the community and for the theater to work together.
Ahead on Up with KREM, an ongoing legal dispute with the Garland Theater is now over. Coming up, how the theater is celebrating. Plus, high prices at the pump could affect turnout at Hoop Fest this year, where hoopers are coming from. In just a moment. And a brand new park comes to the West Plains, what it means for the growing community there. Good morning and welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Brandon T. Jones. We want to go ahead and get right on over to the Weather Center with Jenny Power. Jenny, how are things feeling out there, and what can we expect as we head into the new week?
Yeah, Brandon, taking a look at the forecast here, it is definitely a cooler start to the day today. So as we move forward here, our temperatures are still trending a little bit below our average. Through this afternoon, we're still going to be seeing some breezy winds, but some more sunshine for Spokane. Moving into tomorrow to start the work week here, it will be partly sunny as we continue to hang on to some cooler temperatures. But let's look at those daytime highs this afternoon. So we're in the mid 60s for Spokane and Deer Park, low 60s for Coeur d'Alene, with some low 70s returning trending out toward central Washington for areas like Omak, Chelan, Wenatchee, Moses Lake, and some mid to upper 70s south to Richland and the Tri-Cities. I do want to show you our future tracker because although we are seeing some more sunshine for Spokane, some rain showers are trending out toward the Camas Prairie, and because of cold temperatures and higher elevations, we're even looking at some mountain snow along the Montana-Idaho border. Yes, it is June and we are seeing that in those higher elevations. By this afternoon, we've got the chance of some showers popping up through the North Idaho Panhandle. So if you do have afternoon plans out east that direction, be aware. And then moving into tomorrow, we start to trend a little bit drier. So an extended look at that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Well, since 2025, the Garland Theater and its property manager have been locked in a legal dispute over the theater's lease in the new apartments built next door. The theater lost most of its customer parking because of the complex. Now, the theater manager says both sides have reached an agreement ending the lawsuit, expanded parking, and extended the theater's lease to 2054.
It's not a lot of fun when you're trying to save something that you love. Everybody else says they love it, but you're in a struggle with the owner of the property. That puts the theater at risk. So moving forward, we're going to try to have a positive working relationship. It's only going to do good for the community and for the theater to work together.
To celebrate, the theater will have a Never Say Die Carnival on the weekend of August 1st with throwback 1989 prices for popcorn and movies. In our ongoing Boomtown series, we track growth in the region, and a new community park is now open in Spokane County's West Plains. It's called Camas Meadow Park and will be 10 acres. KREM 2's Regan Gallo has a closer look.
At the heart of every community is a place to come together.
1, 2, 3.
And for many, that place is a park. From a playground for the kiddos.
It's been a great place for a lot of the communities around here that feel kind of disconnected from a lot of the other parks to finally have a place to come and play with our kids.
To the pickleball court.
Good cardio, and I need the practice.
And even a place to fetch. Spokane County's new Camas Meadow Community Park serves a growing community in the West Plains.
In 6 years, we've brought almost 7,000 new jobs to the West Plains and well over $3 billion of new investment.
Just off the 272 Medical Lake truck stop exit. Spokane County Commissioner Al French says industries like aerospace, manufacturing, and pharmaceuticals are shaping the area's future, meaning more housing and more families moving in, like for Dawson and his daughter Lainey.
Having this park has been a game changer, right?
Or for the firefighters who work nearby.
It's great. Before, our engine is just out here in Four Lakes, so we had to travel quite a bit.
So whether it's your soccer field or your walking paths, it's a place to gather and to play.
The fact that they finally made it happen in the last year has been just great to see.
Well, the Eastern Washington University Aerospace Club is headed to the 2026 International Rocket Engineering Competition. A rocket they designed is on display right now at EWU's campus. Then they will send it to Midland, Texas. And the club says they expect the rocket to get up to 30,000 feet.
We're competing in the 30,000 foot category. So this rocket we built is going to fly to 30,000 feet and it's going to reach Mach 2 on the way there. 30,000 feet, the best thing to compare it to is the cruising altitude of a commercial airliner. It's just a little bit below that.
All right, well, the rocket is made of carbon fiber and should fly over 1,500 miles per hour. All right, Hoop Fest is just weeks away, but with gas prices remaining pretty high right now, KREM 2's Connor McAvoy reports that some players and families may be thinking twice about making the drive to Spokane. He spoke with organizers about what they are expecting this year.
Downtown Spokane will soon be filled with hundreds of basketball courts as the 36th annual Hoop Fest returns later this month.
We can't believe it's already June, but our team's, hard at work. Executing now.
Riley Stockton is Hoop Fest's executive director. He says overall participation looks similar to previous years, but where people are traveling from is starting to shift.
We've actually seen an increase from the state of Idaho, from Oregon, and from Montana, and then our other states.
The tournament comes as gas prices remain elevated across the country. AAA reports the national average for a gallon of gas was $4.32 as of Monday night. In Washington, the state average was $5.70 per gallon. Stockton says the biggest change he's noticed is fewer people making the trip from western Washington. In King County, AAA reports the average price of gas is nearly $6 a gallon. He credits Hoop Fest's generational appeal and festival atmosphere for keeping people coming back year after year.
Their dads played in Hoop Fest, then they're playing in Hoop Fest, and now their kids are playing in Hoop Fest. So you can come down to Hoop Fest and have a really fun experience without spending a ton of money.
Last year, Hoop Fest generated about $47 million for the local economy. With final registration closing Wednesday, Stockton hopes this year's event continues to bring players, families, and visitors to Spokane.
Hoop Fest is around because of the community of Spokane.
Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Still ahead here on Up with KREM, deportation cases cost more now, and families say they're being priced out of due process. How this all impacts a man in a Washington ICE facility. And this artist would have been 68 today, and his fans are in for a surprise. More about the new music we're getting from Prince this summer. The Trump administration is raising the price of application fees for immigrants who want to stay in the U.S. Now, thousands of families are trying to come up with money just to get their case going. Sharon Yu shares what happens to people who cannot afford the application.
Yadira Guzman is not a single mother of 3 boys, but ever since ICE detained her husband Claudio in April, she's been feeling like one, working 2 jobs.
They took a bunch of people, and that included my husband and my stepson.
Claudio was the breadwinner of the family. ICE arrested him at a work site in Utah and randomly transferred him to the Northwest ICE Processing Center in Tacoma. He now has a deportation order against him. All this too much for one of the 3 boys.
When I went to go check on Christian, he had a knife ready to cut himself.
And he said it was because his dad was gone?
Yeah, that is just too much for him.
To fight his deportation case, Claudio had to file an application that used to cost $130. But ever since President Trump signed the so-called Big Beautiful Bill into law, the feds are now charging $1,670, more than 10 times the original amount.
You know, I was disappointed.
Immigration attorney Olia Katala represents Yadira's husband. She's taking his case for a reduced fee.
That happens very often, especially in detention. A lot of attorneys are working for not very much, and because these people really truly need our help.
Katala says in the past, families like Yadira's could apply for a fee waiver, but the judges, at least in Tacoma, have been denying the waivers, saying, quote, the court does not have jurisdiction to grant fee waivers under the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. But the so-called Big Beautiful Bill does not cite anything about judges denying these waivers.
It's as if it's, you know, due process for sale.
As for the Guzmans, they have a GoFundMe set up in the hopes of at least buying a chance for Claudio to stay.
Be strong, this is almost over, and we'll be back together again.
Coming up, an all-new story about a special app that helps cancer patients connect with each other, how it's turning strangers into support. Behind the scenes here on Up with KREM, we love everything pop culture. That means movies, music, celebrities. It's a whole lot of what we talk about before the show. Producers Kelsey Clark and Adriana Del Padre decided, why not bring that pop culture talk in front of the camera? Here's a sneak peek of the latest episode of Pop Culture with the producers.
Something I'm really interested in are the 2 that just recently came out, Obsession and Backrooms. So cool. And I'm not like a horror movie person. I get so scared, like even in the theater, I'll like cover my eyes, I don't look. But I'm so interested in watching these because A, they look so cool, but both of the directors are like YouTubers, which is so interesting. Why'd they get picked up? I don't know. Obsession has such a small budget. So did Backrooms. Kane Parsons, the director of Backrooms, 20 years old. He's the youngest director for a #1 film ever.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy.
20 years old? What was I doing at 20? Not directing a movie.
No.
I was probably doing homework.
Probably.
I was sleeping.
And what's even crazier is there's a new Star Wars movie that just came out, right? Star Wars, Mandalorian, and Grogu.
Pedro Pascal.
You know, I actually do kind of want to watch that because I love Baby Yoda. I'm never calling him Grogu.
It's Baby
Absolutely
Yoda.
not. It's Baby Yoda. What's crazy is those two movies beat out the new Star Wars movie. There hasn't been a new Star Wars movie in like 7 years. These two little horror, like indie movies beat out a Star Wars movie.
Which is crazy
Which is
to
crazy.
think about.
And it's both of these directors' first time directing. Curry Barker directed Obsession. It's his first time. He's 26. And Kane Parsons because he's 20. I would hope it's his first movie. But yeah, actually so crazy. I want to see Backrooms so bad. I know I can't watch Obsession in the theater because I would just get too scared and grossed out. But I will watch it at some point. Trust.
I'm a big ol' scaredy cat, so
Yeah.
I feel like I need to watch it in the day with someone, daylight, and then I need to go like outside afterwards and go touch grass
Right.
because I will get spooked out.
Yeah. And I need a blue slushie. I mean icy. Same difference.
Blue Fruzy.
Super fun stuff right there, and they are an absolute blast. We love our producers, and you can learn more about movies coming out this summer and even more pop culture news on the full episode. You can watch that right now on our new KREM 2 app.
Now it's time to get an extended look at your forecast here on this Sunday and what we're set to see across the inland Northwest, where temperature-wise, it's going to be similar to where we were at yesterday. We're still seeing these cooler temperatures that are a bit below our average in the 60s. Today, we are going to see a little bit more sunshine, particularly for Spokane. While parts of North Idaho, it's a different story. That's what we're covering in this extended forecast. We'll watch for some showers popping up through parts of the Gem State. And today, it's still going to be breezy out there. We saw the breezy winds yesterday. Today is going to be comparable in that regard. Now, as far as our future tracker goes, here's mid-morning where we're seeing a bit more of that sunshine for Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. But south to the Camas Prairie, we are seeing some rain showers there in central Idaho, and up in the mountains, even the return here of some very high elevation mountain snow along the Montana-Idaho border. Yes, it is June, and we are talking about some mountain snow in those very high elevations. Moving into this afternoon, we are going to remain mostly dry for the Spokane area, but you can see through the North Idaho Panhandle, particularly north of Sandpoint, we do have the chances of seeing some quick spotty showers moving through. We're also seeing that up in the mountains of the Okanagan Valley, so really the Okanagan Highlands. And as we continue to move into the rest of this evening, still hanging on to mostly dry conditions through parts of central Washington and eastern Washington. And then into tomorrow, we'll be seeing some partly sunny skies. So a fairly mild yet cool start to the next week ahead. Daytime highs this afternoon, we're at 64 degrees for Spokane, 62 for Coeur d'Alene. We do have some low 70s this afternoon for Moses Lake, Wenatchee, Chelan, and Omak. Low 60s, though, is the high for Republic, with just looking at some upper 50s for Bonners Ferry. As we take a look across the nation, this is a look at Phoenix. I mean, definitely warm toward Arizona, 105. Hot, actually, not warm, definitely more than that. 105 is that daytime high, 89 degrees for Dallas, 91 for Corpus Christi. We're looking at some low 80s for Detroit and mid 80s out in New York. As we bring it back home here a little bit closer to what we're anticipating to see as we move forward, we're going to hang on to cooler temperatures in the Pacific Northwest, well, really inland Northwest, with some cooler than average temperatures for this upcoming week and precipitation that is about average. So with that here, we are going to watch for some showers possible by the middle of this upcoming week. So just keep that in mind as we will also hang on to daytime highs in the 60s here, folks. And so with the threat of some showers possible, a really helpful tool is access to our live local radar, which you can view 24/7 for completely free on the KREM 2 app on your TV or your phone.
Well, new this morning, matching with someone on a dating app usually leads to small talk or a first date. But for cancer patients, a different phone app can lead to something far more important: support through the hardest times of their lives. CBS's Quinn Baumgartner shares the story of one perfect match.
It's been 2 years since single dad Mark Seviano Jr. began the fight of his life.
I was 40 years old. Just celebrated Father's Day. A couple days later, got diagnosed with cancer.
The months ahead with esophageal cancer were daunting, painful, and isolating.
And one night, late at night, I was just scrolling through my phone and Googling like cancer support groups. And then Cancer Buddy came up. And I was like, Cancer Buddy?
Christina Merrill created the app, wanting to design an online support system for patients, survivors, and caregivers with an estimated 2.1 million new cancer cases this year in the U.S.
There's been great advances in cancer treatment, but there hasn't been a lot of focus on the psychological and emotional aspects of cancer care. And so that's why Cancer Buddy really fills this gap.
Similar to a dating app, Cancer Buddy allows users to find matches based on cancer type, age, and location, then swipe to find connections.
It's a very niche app.
For Mark, one swipe led to a friendship with Anita Chan.
So this was March 2025.
Oh, wow, you have it.
The pair connecting over the pains of chemo, background as teachers, and their faith.
I didn't have to beg for that support. It came naturally. It felt like he understood that I needed that, and it was a place for me to lean on to.
Mark is now cancer-free, while Anita continues treatment for stage 4 neuroendocrine carcinoma, both saying this connection is a form of medicine.
We got to make each other better versions of ourselves.
All while gaining a friend to walk through life with. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, you got to let us know. Do you remember this artist right here? He's been gone 10 years, but he's still got some songs up his sleeve. More on that in just a few minutes. All right, Jenny, you know whose birthday it is today?
Whose birthday?
Prince. None other than
What?
Prince, so we got to say happy birthday to Prince. He would have been 68 years old today.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So looking back at this, he passed away 10 years ago. And this is pretty cool. Even though he's been gone for a decade, Prince fans are getting a new collection of unreleased music this summer.
All right, and the 10-track album titled Timeless features Prince's recordings spanning from 1977 to 2016. The collection arriving at the end of August also includes the newly released single Stone.
Okay.
So I know a lot of people out there. I know a lot of big Prince fans out there as well. What a fascinating character and individual. And 58 years old when he passed away. So sad stuff right there. But obviously, legends never die, right?
Yeah, that's true. Especially, huge treat for the fans that did get to hear some more music. Who knew that would even be possible 10 years later?
You've got a dog named Prince, right?
I do. Not related.
No,
it's not connected.
Okay.
But why not? Maybe I'll play some Prince for Prince.
Play some Purple Rain for young Prince, and just enjoy that, because what a song right there that is.
Classic.
And what a morning. So we want to say thank you, Jenny. Thank you everyone out there for watching Up with KREM this morning. We appreciate you, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, have an awesome day today, guys, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.